Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I do apologize for the noise. I am at a cafe close by Seymour. So, hello, everybody, for tuning in. I am your host, Huong. I am with Cash Property. And in today's episode of Money Matters, we're going to talk about something that came up over the weekend, and it really I'm still struggling with putting words to this because it really makes me angry at how much the banks are charging people in terms of fees. And unless you know what you're looking at, this could eat on your savings for years and years and years, and you never catch it. Okay, so I am sharing this right now because this came up over the weekend, and this family who I had the privilege of sitting with and just, helping them through some of their navigation of understanding the money, they were paying almost 10% monthly on fees. Okay, so I'm going to walk through some sample statements that I found, just to show you how you can look at your statements and understand what's actually happening with your statements. Now, before I do that, let me share with you the monthly mastermind that is coming up this Friday. So if you're interested in real estate and you're interested in getting to know a bit more about real estate and how to navigate that, that monthly mastermind is happening this Friday. It's the third Friday of every month. And so we are hosting that. So if you're interested, I will put the link into the chat box and feel free to sign up. It is pay what you want, pay what you can, or pay what you think it's worth. So come and participate. It's a safe space for you to learn about real estate and ask questions. Okay, so that is the first thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my whole screen because I want to be able to share with you the statements that I found, some sample statements online that I found, and then the calculation just to show what the fees are in terms of a percentage so that we actually understand what we're looking at. So I'm going to share with you my entire screen. Okay, now the other thing that I want to say while I'm in the process of doing that is the the big thank you that I want to share is, thank you for coming on to these shows that I do and listening in and learning, because if you get a better handle of your money situation and you can take that to your kids, you're just helping the entire world, the entire planet, right? Just that financial literacy, because you guys will be happier, like a happier family unit, and that's just helps the world so much. So thank you so much for taking the time to follow and learn about financial literacy. So thank you for that. Okay, so let me share my entire slide and then we will go and see how we can navigate through that. Okay, so let me minimize this. Okay, so let me share the first sample statement here. So this is one that I found online. Okay, and I love how there's like Jane Smith on this document. Okay, so in this document here, they have they're showing January to June. So it's a 6-month time period, which is fine. Okay, and I've started the Excel sheet already, so you'll see that up here. Okay, so what they've done is they said, okay, at the end of the year of December 2020, so January the 1st, you have 17,700 in your account. So that's great. So there's the 17,007. And then the change in the account is $180. And so your balance at the end of June for that 6-month period has gone up by $180 to $17,886. Okay, great. So let's figure out how much Jane Smith has actually made in this account. So we've got the 17,000 there. Okay, and let's see here. So 17,000. And we're going the 180 for 6 months, a growth of 17,886. So over that course of the 6 months, she made just over 1%. So basically, this is like a savings account or a low interest, okay, low interest. I'm saying that GIC or something like that. So over the course of 1 year, she would be making just over 2%. So to calculate that, what I just said was it's 1.02 divided by 6 months to give me per month, and then times that by 12. So that gives me over a 1 year period. So she's making 2% on this account, which isn't very much. Okay. So now to back up here, to calculate the 1%, I basically just took my $180 divided by my starting balance, which is the 70,000. So 180 divided by 17, that will give you that 1%. Okay. So now let's compare that to a higher interest savings account or a higher interest GIC. And right now we can get something for around 4 or 5% here. So at 5%, you'd be making $885 for that 1 year. So that's the comparison there between going with 1 year. So let's go here. So this 180 times 2. So 360 versus 885. Okay. This is snail's pace investing here. Not what I would recommend, but for some people, this is their investment tolerance, and it depends on where they are in their life. Okay. So if this is where you are, that's fantastic. Okay. Now keep in mind that if you can make 7 or more, then that's fantastic. Okay. So now the other thing now with this statement that I found online, on the second page here, what they showed here is Miss Smith purchased something. Okay, so in a guaranteed interest account for 5,500, and annually she's going to make 2.4%. And this is going to be cashable in February of 2022. So that's a 5-year period, like basically going in on 2017. Okay, so which is like right here on 2017, going to 2022. Okay, and she's basically making 2.4%. And she at the end of that, she's going to get 6,000, roughly 6,200. Okay, fine. Okay, so in the whole scheme of things, what they've done is they've just basically said, okay, the 5,500 times the 2.4, and we're going to compound that every single year. And then at the end of that 5th year, she's going to get 6,192. Okay, so that's fine. So this actually was not the situation that I encountered over the weekend. So what I was trying to find out was some of the statements that would show a super high interest fee. Okay. And this document doesn't actually show any of that because it just talks about the interest coming in and so forth like that. Okay, so but I wanted to show in this case here how snail's pace this interest rate is. Okay, so let's go into the next document here that I found. Okay, so here's one that was interesting here. Okay, but it doesn't show the whole picture here. This one just basically shows that there's a $12 maintenance fee. So if you're looking at your statements, don't just look for how much money you made or look for the gain in the interest account or whatever. Look for how much your fees are per month. Okay, and it's a per month thing that we want to look at, because that will allow you to get a gauge of how much the institutions are charging you for handling your money, to have access to your money. Okay. So this doesn't give us the whole picture because there's no starting value here, and they're just showing a $12 withdrawal, okay, for a maintenance fee. So this could be great. This could be too high. We don't know. Okay, so let's keep going here. So this is the one that really came the closest to what I was trying to convey here. So this is an IG investors group, wealth management thing. So this is not an actual statement or anything. It's just a sample document that is available online that you can use as an example to understand how to read a statement. So let's go through this together here. So this is just a sample in here. Okay, so in this statement, they are going from October 1st to December. So October, November, December, so there's 3 months, so a quarter, and it's in 2020. Okay, that's fine. So this person has 500. Okay, so hold on. I'm just going to get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new Excel sheet here. Okay, so usually when I look at somebody's financial documents, because, family or friends will come to me and say, hey, Hong, can you look at my statement and tell me what I'm looking at? Because I don't know, right? And so what I'll do is I'll look at their statements and I'll just go through it page by page and just get an understanding of where their financial situation is. Okay, so let's go through that example together. Okay, so this is a fake statement here, okay? It's not a real statement here. So this one is 584,000. They have some registered funds and non-registered funds. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then it says that this period, they started with 537. They had a withdrawal of $408 for whatever reason. Then they had a change in value. So there was $45,284 of some gain. Okay, and we don't know what that's from. It could be money that they put in, or that the market's gone up and they saw a positive gain in their account, which is great. Their closing value is for 582. So it's their opening value, the 537 plus the 45,000 minus the $400. Okay, so just the simple math there. Okay, so in this period, they had an opening value of $1,500, and then and then the changing value, so then the closing value. Okay, so then there must have been some sort of active, that's a conversion rate. Okay, so this is a US account and they're converting it to Canadian. Okay, so the activity here, so there was some sort of gain of 1,500 here from some. Okay, so we'll probably find out what that is. Okay, so that's just from the first sheet. Okay, so now let's go into the second sheet. So here they have some RESPs. Okay, so then there's a market value there, book value. Okay, so that's where that gain of about $150. Okay, from something. Okay, because the market is higher than the book value, so there's a bit of a gain. But you don't actually see that until you close this out. Okay, so the market value is just an indicator there. Okay, so now let's keep going here. So here they're looking at, so there's some value there. The price has gone up. So this is how many they have. It's worth this much. So there's a gain in that amount. Okay, so that's fine. So they're just giving you an explanation of where that money comes from. Okay. So it looks like they've got some deposits going in. Okay, so they deposited, they purchased something. Then there was, the RESP grant. Okay, so the match from the government. Then they had another deposit. Okay, so this deposit is, the person is putting in a regular monthly deposit. So they've agreed to put in $208.33 every single month. And then the investors group is taking that money out and buying whatever this portfolio is for them. Okay, so then they're taking that out and buying it, and then they're also using the grant money and buying more of that portfolio for them too. And then every single month that portfolio money, the grant money's coming in and the person's putting in money, and so then they're buying it. Okay, so that's fine. So now the portfolio is doing whatever it's doing. Okay, so that's the portfolio that they purchased, the 1654. You can see, okay, the money's going in, they're buying that portfolio. So it's showing the value of that portfolio. Okay, so this is very passive for this person who has this account. Okay, fine. So now let's see here. So year to date. Okay, so for the period year to date from January, for 1 year, 3 years, and since they started. Okay, so the way I read this is that since they started this, so they started this in October of 2017, and then they've been, doing whatever they've been doing in this account. They're now at 20 years. Okay, so it's been 3 years. So basically, on average, their return, okay, is just around that 1%. So not exciting. Okay, not something that as an investor I would do. Okay, and definitely, you know, it's an RESP, so there's not very much that you can do about that, but if it was a different type of an account, then I would be like saying, hey, what else can we do? Okay, so let's see, cash and securities flow, so since 2017 till now. Okay, so they, yeah, so the amount that they invested. Okay, look at this. Okay, so they took out 10,000 for whatever reason. Okay, so close to 11,000 for whatever reason. So then the net invested, that's fine. So that's why the amount's gone down. The amount's gone down since they put it in 2017 to now. It's gone down because they made this big withdrawal of 10,000 at some point for some reason. Okay, so that's fine. So let's keep going here. So yeah, so the amount withdrawal, the amount invested, that's fine. Okay, so let's keep going here. So this is where it gets really interesting. So this is a sample of the fees that is being charged here. So now the interesting thing is when I first saw this, I was like, okay, from April to June. So it's April, May, and June. So 3-month time frame in 2017. So this is just an example statement. Right? But then they go, oh, wait a minute. It's not just for your last 3 months. It's for July 2017 to June 2017. So it's actually for 1 year. So for the whole, so you sort of have to be aware of the time frame that you're looking at. That affects, you know, the analysis here. Okay, so what they've done is they've charged you an admin fee for of 150. Then they've charged a redemption fee of $75. Then they charge fees paid by you and sales tax, all of that stuff. So a total of $234 fees. Okay, then there's trailing commissions and dealer fees for a total of $1,225. Okay, so now there's so now it says the total amount we received to service your account. So about $1,459. Okay, so let's run that through. Okay, so that's what I've got here, this $1,459 for one fee. Okay, so now let's just say, so this is for 2017. So now do we have an example here of how much their fee? Yeah, see, so then it goes into another type of statement. So they're not showing it being consistent with the time frame. See, because now they've jumped to 2020. Okay, so let's just assume that we are using this statement here where we are, where's that one where we started with something and how can we do this? Okay, let's use this first sheet here. Okay, so the fees that they charged you was $1,459. Okay, that's fine. So now let's just say your starting investment, okay, was the 502. Okay, 502. 647.51. Okay, so this is your starting investment because this is the fees that they charged you for 1 year. So let's just say that for your starting investment was $502,000. Fine. At the end of the year, so we're going to assume that this statement that they are sharing us is just for 3 months, but let's just say that it's for the course of the year. And at the end of that year, your closing value was the 582. Okay, so then this is your end, 582, 692.4 million. Okay, so that way, if you were looking at your own statement, you can actually do this calculation on your own. Okay, so you want to take whatever your ending balance is. Okay, so I'm going to actually just type this out here. So your ending balance minus your starting balance. Okay, you take all of that and you're going to divide that by your starting. Okay, that is going to give you your ROI for whatever time frame that you're looking at. And in this case, we're looking at 1 year. Okay, so the profit, let's call it that, is going to be your 582 minus your 502 divided by your 582. Okay, and so that is a percentage. Okay, and we're gonna go to one decimal place. Okay, so this is a 13.7% return. That's fantastic. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so now if you're, okay, so now that's good. So now in this example here, they were saying 3 months. Okay, so let's just say that this is now 3 months. Okay, so now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna divide that by 3 months. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the formula here. Divide that by 3, and then we're gonna times that by 12. And that's gonna give us the return. If we were to say, okay, just for that 3 months, we made, this amount of profit. But if we say, okay, for the course of the year, if we were to anticipate that regularly, we would be at 54%. So that's actually really, really good. Okay, so let's go to 12 months. So there you go. So we're back to 12 months. Okay, so you want to look at your fees and figure out, are they actually charging you? Like how, sorry. Let me see here. So this is the profit. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, now how much fees are they actually charging you though for managing this amount? Okay, so let's go back there. I almost got sidetracked with that. So the profit is this, the 582 minus the 502. Okay, so you make $80,000. Okay, so that's good. So $80,000, and they charged you 1,400. So what is the fees that they actually charged you? Okay, so the way to do that is you just take your fees divided by your percentage. Okay, so they are charging you, in this particular case, they're charging you 1.8% fees for the course of the year, if this example was for the course of the year. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. Like usually for management fees, it's anywhere from 0.5 to 3%. Okay, 3 is on the higher end, and anything above 3, you may want to take a look at that. Okay, so 1.8% is not bad in this case. Okay, so now let's run through the scenario where it's 3 months. Okay, so if that's 3 months, okay, then this is also for 3 months. Okay, so that may not be so great. Okay, so let's copy that down here. Okay, so now if this is a 3-month fee, okay, so let's just say over the course of, so this is your profit per year. Okay, so this is per year. Okay, now this is the profit for the time frame. Okay, so that's important to keep in mind. Okay, so now you're going to be charged 1.8% for that 3 months, which is fine. So if this was now for the 12 months, okay, then everything, yeah. Okay, so then everything is just sort of prorated with that. Because if you got this full amount for 3 months and that's all that they're charging you, well, it's still only going to be 1.8%. But in 3 months, okay, if they charge you that for 3 months, then you have to go 54% for the year. Let's see, for the time frame, right? So then you'd have to actually times this for, so let's go now, we're going to calculate per, oh, no, I'm going to go back, sorry. Go over here per year. So this was only for this 80,000 was only for 3 months. So you actually now have to take this 80,000 divided by your 3 months times it by 12. So in effect, you should actually be making for the course of the year, if you were to do this at this rate of return, which is insane, you would be making $320,000, which is fantastic. Okay, so then over the course of 1 year, what would your 1 year? So then what would your rate of return be, right? Sorry, your fees would be. So you would just take this, divide it by your 3 months times 12. Okay, so then you would be charged, is that right? 7%? No, we go percentage, and I want this number here. Okay, let me just double check that. Because if you're being charged, no, actually it should be less than that, 3 months. So it's 1,400 times 4. Because it's, well, you know what, let's stick to the normal math. Divide by 3 times 12. Okay, so that's hold on. Okay, we're gonna say 3 months times 4. Okay, so we're actually gonna be charged 5,000 something. And now we're gonna take this 5,000 something divided by our total return. Okay, there we go. So it's still 8. Yeah, okay. So once we increase, so this is incorrect here, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so over the course of the 3 months, if you're being charged 1.4, sorry, if over the course of 3 months, if you're being charged 1,400 for this rate of return, right, over the course of the year, it would still be 1.8%. So that's actually really good. Okay, so let's go here to 12 months just to make things simple. Okay, yes, so it's still that much. So then this number doesn't make sense anymore. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that I found that I want to share, you know, and sort of convey to the kids of the parents who are going through situations where you're looking at accounts like this. Don't take the position that, hey, it's my parents' money. It's up to them to manage it. If you are an adult child and you have access to your parents' account, make sure that you look at it with them so that you understand how much fees you're actually paying out to these accounts. It's super, super important because the banks are charging crazy fees for these accounts. Okay, so the 3 examples that I showed here, the first one wasn't a fee, and then in the second one, we have no way of knowing what the fees are. But in this last one, we are able to calculate out the fees, and it's not that crazy, okay? But where your fees can creep up on you, you want to understand those fees and then go and talk to your bank and figure out why the fees are so high and then do something about it. Okay, it was super heart-wrenching for me to sit down with this family, friends of family, and just look at their account not growing because they were being charged these massive fees that worked out to be about 10% on their account, which was astronomical. Okay, so that is what I have for you today. If you are interested in joining the mastermind, please do so. We are hosting the monthly mastermind. Here we go. The monthly mastermind is coming up this Friday, and I would love to have you present on the mastermind if you are able to attend. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a happy Monday.